Welcome to this session at the Gartner Digital Workplace Summit on modernizing and securing collaboration to accelerate digital transformation. My name is Michael Brenzel. I'm from the Google Workspace team at Google, and it's also my pleasure to welcome today my guest speaker, Lenneke from Airbus. Welcome, Lenneke.
Hi, Michael. Very happy to be here. So my name is Lenneke Alves-Bakker, and I'm leading the change and adoption team for the Airbus Digital Workplace.
Great to have you here today, and we have a short chat in a few minutes. But first, let me introduce and set the stage of the conversation for the session today. So it's clear that the market context is changing and shifting, and everybody tries to make core process and everything more efficient. We also have more and more conversation and challenges now when it comes to unlocking team collaboration in a newly hybrid environment and make sure that people that are working now in a hybrid setup also very efficient as before the pandemic. The last point also that we should think of now is improving how we use data to better reach and serve our customers. We have a lot of options and possibilities by using cloud technology to drive and enable more knowledge and data-driven context to make our business more successful. And when we look now into the change and learnings that we've seen, we can clearly say that every company will compete in a data and AI-driven world. The whole forecasted size of data and AI markets in the next few years will be over $500 billion. So really, really massive growth in the next few years ahead of us. But yet only 24% of all the companies thought that their organization was data-driven in this past year. So we still have a lot of opportunities. And this is also something we feel and see on our side of the cloud world, that the demand in that field is super big and that we can help a lot of companies to make the best out of their knowledge and data they have in their company and organization. When we then also look and talk about security, this is a big concern and challenge for many organizations now with the massive increase of cyber criminal attacks or cybersecurity breaches that we read in the news regularly each day. There is a big opportunity and also ask for CISOs to focus on more topics and to be really prepared for what's coming towards them in the next few years. So the protecting the company's business and also the customers and customer data is more and more important than ever before. And everything on this side also needs to evolve in order to be ready and ahead of the threats that are coming up through new technologies that we see. Also, when we look into what's happening company-wise, it still is that 2/3 of Fortune 500 CEOs say cybersecurity is their top concern about managing risk. So IT security is more important than ever before. Then when we look into what companies will do and where they are going to, definitely also a good argument here is that most companies will become a technology company. Even if they are not there yet, they should look into all these options that are available and what we can do technology-wise, combining cloud technology or amazing and very advanced collaboration solutions like Google Workspace to drive collaboration into the next level and to make sure that everything runs super smooth and efficient. When we look into the market size for global application modernization, also here, it's growing a lot. It's a very big market and region. And there is still only 80% of the workloads, or not only, already only 80% of all the workloads are still on-premise. There is still a big opportunity to move more and more things to the cloud because it's more efficient, it's more secure, it's faster, and I would say it's even less worryful for CIOs to have things in local premises instead of just to the cloud. And when we look quickly also in the future of work definitions and what's happening here, there are three pillars that are very important to address. The first is work is no longer a place. So we must make sure that every employee is happy with new setups and regulations that the company defines. So many employees are asking now for a hybrid solution or a remote working options. And I know many companies are still trying to find their way through it and to build a plan, but this is something that many employees ask for and will be a mandatory requirement, so to say, in the future also for many organizations. The second one is that timing is more precious, especially for those who have kids at home. One of four working parents is still the primary caregiver right now. And when we then have remote workers that have also the kids at home, it is more challenging than ever before to handle it and also to be able to manage both worlds together. The third pillar is the human connection. Even though we have amazing concepts and tools to do video conferencing and video calls, we still want to meet people again. And one of three workers feels disconnected from company culture and colleagues if they are only doing video calls. So it's definitely worth evaluating and looking ahead and building hybrid working concepts to make sure every employee is satisfied where and how he or she can do his or her job. This is also something that brings me to what we should ask our customers. And there we came to the conclusion that four main questions will drive and set the stage for the future. The first would be really, how can we make smarter and informed decisions to improve customer and employee experiences? Another one on the digitalization would be, how do we digitize operations to set our business up for growth, agility, and scale? And also, how do we empower our employees in the office, at home and on the go, and on the front line? The last one would be, how do we proactively secure the newly hybrid workspaces and protect them from security risks before they turn into damaging incidents? So you see that there are a lot of questions and phrases we need to address now in order to be ready for what's coming next. But this brings me to one main topic that I want to highlight here. We would define it the collaboration cloud. So we want to bring our solutions together, Google Cloud on the one hand side and Google Workspace on the other hand side. So meaning hybrid work models across all the offices, no matter where an employee is working from and or how, builds the base for a successful future, even including frontline environments and bringing both worlds together for a successful future ahead of us. Summarizing, we can say combining Google Workspace, Google Cloud, and security can help to create a future-proof hybrid work, built on a foundation of hybrid work models that helps modernizing everything, empowering our employees to do their best work, no matter what tools they use and where they work. Also, proactively helping protect users and company data by using zero trust solutions and models like Google's Beyond Core platform, as well as providing modern and optimized technologies like Google Workspace that just needs a browser to do all the office work that employees need to do. And last but not least, to help stay ahead of the competition by simplifying infrastructure management and improving also the agility for operations. Now, let's move over to Lenneke and to learn a bit more about Airbus. Lenneke, maybe you can give us a short introduction on what the situation is at Airbus when it comes to digital workplace.
Yes, for sure, Michael. First of all, thank you very much for all these very useful insights. So yes, for sure, at Airbus, we are also rethinking how work gets done, integrating many of the elements that you just mentioned. And of course, as a result of the pandemic, we already were pushed to rethink the way we are working. But the story of Airbus started even before the pandemic. So in 2018, the Airbus Executive Committee took the decision to move everyone in the company to Google Workspace. And this decision was taken because we wanted to considerably change the way we are working, focusing on stronger collaboration and transparency in a more secure environment. Now, Airbus is a company of 130,000 people working in different locations all around the world. And we have a supply chain of around 5,000 different suppliers that are helping us to build our extremely complex products. So due to the size of our organization and the complexity of our products, the move to Google Workspace was done gradually over time and in close alignment with the different business functions in Airbus. So when the pandemic started, we were in the middle of the migration to move to Google Workspace. And of course, like many other companies, we also had to move to remote working. And what happened in Airbus is that in the beginning, we didn't have enough VPN connections, but people could connect to Google Workspace without the use of VPN. So this meant that within the first couple of weeks of the pandemic, we had to migrate nearly everyone to Google Workspace. So yes, for sure, the pandemic accelerated everything, but even more importantly, people really recognized the major benefits of using Google Workspace. And an example that I always like to give is that during the first weeks of the pandemic, we had to completely recalculate our budgets within the frame of a cash containment exercise. And thanks to Google Workspace, we were able to do this very rapidly in a collaborative and transparent way in Google Sheets.
Mm-hmm. So how did it help your teams then to stay overall productive and engaged with what you just described? Is there any special recipe or story that you want to share on that part?
So yes, for sure. So the move to Google Workspace was accelerated by the pandemic, and we recognized the benefits. And I think what we clearly recognize is that using quick solutions like chat and Meet really helped us to stay connected and to work efficiently. And it was always also very engaging to use those tools because we could all be connected in an equal way from any location, and that really helped us to keep on working, and it also set the trend for the future, of course.
Mm-hmm. Were there any strategies that you implemented to balance the employee experience and also flexibility with safeguarding your work environment?
So we, based on the experience that we made in the last couple of years, we decided to move to a hybrid working model within Airbus. So this is now definitely part of our strategy, with the recommendation to work maximum 2 days per week from home and to come to the office 3 days per week. We cannot have a fully remote workforce because a large part of our people are working in manufacturing and production. So basically, it's decided team by team what is the best option for them.
Okay, this sounds like a great option, and I'm sure that employees are appreciating that you already have a hybrid concept built. Another question would be around how are you helping your customers to digitally transform? Do you have a few examples of how the integration that you have made helps your customers to achieve their goals?
Yes, for sure. So we are using more and more cloud solutions that we also make available to the customers. And I think a very good example is Skywise that we are using directly with our customers. And we have actually moved to a multi-cloud strategy within Airbus. So we also launched a Google Cloud Platform at the beginning of this year, basically with the objective to increase our security, especially with regard to ransomware. So basically, we want to modernize all our applications in a cloud-native way, and therefore, of course, benefiting from reliable and innovative services and technologies also with our customers.
That's great to hear. So also, as you address and mentioned that you have just started with Google Cloud Platform, looking ahead, what will the broader relationship between Google Cloud, Google Workspace, and with Airbus look like? Anything you can share on that?
So one of our main activity, or at the core of everything we do is security, of course. And this is where Google Workspace and Google Cloud Platform are really helping us in our way to provide better secured solutions. So I think it's important to tell that Airbus is operating in both civil and military worlds. So we're handling governmental data, military data, export control data, and of course we also must abide by GDPR for personal data. So it's extremely important for us to manage our data in the right way. And we received some important requirements from our management to even go beyond the already secured solutions. And fortunately, Google has always been very keen to understand our requirements and to enhance the products to meet our needs. And we've been working very closely together to develop new, even better secured solutions like client-side encryption, data classification labels, and also a dedicated solution to work with our external partners.
That's great to hear, and thanks for the overview. So it's also great to see how Airbus has developed in the last couple of years and what you could establish on your end side on the future of work and hybrid work concepts, as well as using our technologies to become and continue to be as super successful as you have been in the last couple of years. With that, I have to say thanks, Lenneke, for joining us in this session today. It was a pleasure to have you here, and hope we hear more from Airbus in the coming future. And also thanks for the audience for joining us today in this session, and hope you enjoyed talking with us today and learning more about Google Workspace and what Airbus achieved on the areas of digital workplace. Thanks and goodbye.
Thank you.